Hello, songbirds. Nice to see you. My name is Paige Byrne, and I am the illustrator of Songbirds, written by Shelton H. Shelton. And today's inspiration is the Kirtland's Warbler. And I chose this because the Kirtland's Warbler, it's an endangered species, and it's a very sweet little bird that likes to hang around in the palm trees or the pine trees, and not too high, actually the low pine trees. And it just reminded me of just this person that in the book here that is this little boy that's just playing on the floor, just peaceful and all alone, and doing things that are so meaningful to him. And they might seem like no one's noticing, but we are, and we are noticing the greatness and the kindness, just like in the Kirtland's bird, the awareness that the Kirtland bird eats insect and berries and just keeps that cycle of life going. Well, in observing the Kirtland bird, we notice that the circular head, and the oval body are muchly covered in gray and black and then yellow. And then it kind of creates this lovely pattern that goes along the wing and then onto the tail. So in our lesson today, we're going to keep those three colors and then the shapes in mind of the circle and the oval and the triangle. So here we go. And I just want to get my camera to where it matches up with my hand a little bit and mirrors that. Okay, so right about towards the top corner of your paper, go ahead and put in that ovally shape, and I'll darken this in a minute, or sorry, the circular shape, and then add your oval and your triangle, three-sided triangle. So now we have a nice Kirtland warbler kind of looking out there, and then we'll go ahead and add the beak right in there, okay? And I noticed, and sometimes it's helpful to draw upside down, but I noticed there was like tiered feathers, the first, the middle, and then the second, and then our last tier of feathers that goes into the tail. And I'm going to draw a diagonal line right across the head there. It's almost like a little wavy diagonal line right there. And that divides the color of the yellow that we saw on his face and then the yellow from the tummy there. So now I'm going to outline it and connect those. Bring those in. Our tail feathers can just kind of do little scallop lines like that, and then come on around up to the head and connect and bring that beak out nice and strong. Okay, and I'm going to show you the colors that I'm going to use today. I'm going to go from light to dark. So I do have the yellow with the lightest, the gray, and then the black. So the yellow, just layer in on the bottom. Oops, layer it in like that. I got a little on the tail, but that's okay. And a technique I'd like to show you for the gray part is if you lay your pencil down like this, cruise along, skip, cruise along, skip, cruise along, skip, and you can kind of get a nice thick feathery feel. Just leave a little bit of white space in between. And just repeat that nice long thick stroke. We'll do some of those in the tail. And then you can go in and fill in where you see areas where it might be a little solid and maybe a little definition. I'm using my black colored pencil now. make that black beak nice and strong. I'm really pressing down hard so it doesn't have that kind of soft look that the feathers does. And then feathers do. There we go. Just overlap, going from light to dark. Can always refine and make your drawing clean up a little better. There we go. And then that little speckled tummy. All right. And then knowing that the warbler loves to hang out on a pine tree branch, I'm going to go ahead and put his little legs in there, perched with the claws. One more. Perched with the claws on a little pine tree branch. So I'll draw that. I'll double it and I'll draw it kind of parallel with his body. I'm just going it out for a little direction and interest. And then just putting in your spikes on the branch, beside the branch. Put a little black in there just for some definition. You can color that in. The branches kind of have like an ashy gray look to them, along with his little legs. I'll make a little extra twig, so that makes a little bit more sense. There we go, sliding that underneath. Okay, all right, and I think to finish, I'm just going to keep adding these little pine needles. And when I overlap them with red, that'll give it a nice value, like a shade there, as they change with the sun. Okay, and then I will fill in the tail a little bit. All right, artists. So when you are feeling like your efforts are small and maybe no one is noticing, actually we do notice the value of you, and everyone has a part in God's plan. You fine feathered friend. I look forward to seeing your work. Toodles, toodles.